Hi, everybody. Oh, one second. I forgot something. My light filter, so I don't. Is anybody there yet? Are you home yet? We're going to make some pancakes. We're building an audience. Are you my audience? I don't see anybody yet. Well, we're just going to go ahead and go. I'm going to make for you 4 kinds of pancakes today. Okay? The first one that we're going to make is a Dutch baby. A lot of people, once they saw me working with cast iron stuff, started sending me Dutch baby recipes. And I've actually made them 3 or 4 times now. They're really good. And to tell the truth, we had one for breakfast this morning. So they're really good. Okay, that's on. That's on. Okay. So for a Dutch baby, I've got a 1/2 cup of flour, 3 tablespoons of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of milk, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I made this vanilla myself. Bottle of vodka, vanilla beans. It lasts a whole lot longer and it's a whole lot cheaper if you're doing a lot of cooking than buying all those little bottles. Okay. So I'm going to take this and whisk it up. Oh, with my 2 eggs. How can I forget my 2 eggs? Easy. I did, and I kept talking. So what you get with this is a fairly loose pancake batter. I don't know how well you can see that. I don't want to dump it over. Okay. So it's on the thinner side of a pancake. Butter, flour, sugar, salt, milk, vanilla extract, 2 eggs. Okay, got it. I've preheated my oven at 375 and I have my cast iron pan in there that I'm going to use. Now I've made this before in a 10-inch skillet and it comes out good, but it's pretty flat in the middle. And this morning I used that number 8 skillet that I just got a couple weeks ago, and it just had a whole lot more texture to it, a whole lot more hills and valleys and dips and places to brown. So I just put my pan in the oven at 375 while the oven was preheating. So now I'm going to pull it out. Love the wooden cutting board for this. Can you see? Okay. I'm going to add to my hot skillet about 2 tablespoons of butter. You can hear the butter sizzling in the hot skillet. So I'm just going to push this around to make sure everything in the pan is coated with butter. You want the sides coated, the bottom coated. Now what I showed you for the Dutch baby is a very basic recipe. Flour, sugar, butter, salt, milk, vanilla, and the 2 eggs. But at this point, you can add a sprinkle of cinnamon in it. You can add nutmeg in it. You know, just a 1/2 teaspoon, something to flavor it up a little bit. Or you could add chocolate chips to it. So your hot pan, your creamy mixture, and you just pour that in, the whole thing. There we go. Okay. And put it back in the oven. It takes about a 1/2 hour. So that's why I wanted to get this in the oven right away. Okay. Hey Siri, set timer for 30 minutes. Siri's a big help in the kitchen. Okay. So that's that. That's a Dutch baby. Just those few ingredients, you mix them up, they're pretty smooth, put it in a hot skillet, put it in the oven at 375 for about 30 minutes or so. It's going to brown up and bubble, and well, you'll see. The next recipe I'm going to do, while that's cooking, this will be much quicker. It's my true confession. This is for the ebble skivers, okay? Ebble skiver. If you can read backwards and upside down, you can do just fine. Ebble skiver. Okay? So this is, I don't buy many mixes, but this mix I buy. Just because it's ready-made, and I just have to add a couple things to it, and it's ready to go. The thing with the ebble skivers, this is the round pancakes. Let me pull the pan out of the oven. I was also preheating it. This is the pan that everybody gets and goes, oh, I got a cast iron egg poacher. And it's not a cast iron egg poacher. Okay? And I think this is going to be hot enough that I can cook right here. And so I won't have to turn my back to you. Because I don't want to turn my back to you. It's just rude. So I've got the batter mixed up. And in the ebble skiver batter, because you want it light, you actually... Oh, you can't see that. There you can see it. I have egg whites that I beat up to stiff peaks. So I'm just folding in the batter. You just put an egg in it and some milk or water. When something says milk or water, a lot of times I'll do half and half of each. So I'm just going to mix this until it's smooth. But I don't want to knock all the air out of it, so I'm folding it gently, but I want everything incorporated. There we go. Okay. And like I say, I'm hoping my pan should stay hot. These cook really, really fast. And the fun thing about these little ball pancakes, you can fill them with anything, okay? Well, not anything. You can't chug a steak in there, but works really well with any kind of jam, jelly, little piece of fruit you could stick in them. I just have to remember this thing's hot when I touch it. Okay. So, I'm going to take my little magic brush and my shortening or butter, whichever you want, and I got to hit each of these wells with some of this. Yeah, that's hot. Okay. Now, it doesn't take much of this batter in each one of these wells. Only about a tablespoon or a little more. Into each well. And it looks like I might have to go ahead and put this on the stove, even though it's 375 right now. But I'll try to be mindful of my back. I would rather start out something like this in cast iron that's a little cooler than it wants, than if it's too hot. If it's too hot and you put your batter in there, you're going to burn it before you get far. So, I put in about a tablespoon or so of batter. I'm going to put a few chocolate chips in each one. And I can already tell the sides are setting up. What I wanted to do was to buy like Kisses, the bigger chocolate, and put a kiss on the inside of these, which would have worked really well. But I didn't have them. I had these in the freezer. And actually that's all I had in the freezer, was just a few to put in each one. So again, this is already preheated, but I'm going to pop it on the stove. We're going to need a little more heat on this pan. These don't take real long, because once you put them in the hot pan, the batter starts to set up right away. And the thing is, with the ebble skivers, you want to find some bamboo skewers, because this is how you're going to turn them and get them cooked all the way around. Does he read these while he's cooking? I try to read them while you're cooking. Why am I making you dizzy? Hi. Hi, Lynette. Oh, Jimmy. Oh, my God. Get out of the house. Oh, my. Are things sideways? Is that better? Is this okay now? Why didn't it flip? Oh, the wonders of non-television. Okay. Sorry, guys, that I was sideways. I'm straight now. Okay. So back to my ebble skivers. I'm going to just take this skewer and turn it over about 3/4 of the way. So you kind of got that shell that's cooked, and then you turn it a little bit. The batter comes out, and then it cooks that side, and then you'll turn it one more time, and that will give you your round ball of deliciousness. Oh, this is working nice. This is almost, the smell of it is almost like a vanilla cake mix. You're getting the smell of the cake and the batter and everything as it's cooking. Hi, Ellen. Get yourself off the floor, Paula. It's not a pretty place. Okay, so these are just going to take a minute on this side, and then I'm going to turn them again. The first few times that I made these, I got my pan way too screaming hot. So as soon as I got there's 7 holes. Once I got the 7th one in there, the first one was burning already. So you want to do this to a medium low heat. And again, I got the mix. If you have a hard time finding this mix, I ordered it off the site that's like a big river in the jungle. You go there and you put in ebble skiver or even pancake mixes, and it will come up, and that's one of your options. You can go ahead and get it. Hi, Demian. Hi, Wes. Wes, sometime I want you to come over on a Saturday morning and show us all how to sharpen knives. I need another lesson. Okay. So here we go with one more flip. Yeah, now it's starting to get too hot, and I'm getting too toasty on the side. Oh, and I'm going to set the fire alarm off. I can see the smoking already. So anyway, at least I saw it coming. And I'm turning the last couple, and then you'll have all my attention again. Okay. I am going to do one more batch of these real quick because they're just... Thank you, Wes. Hi, Catherine. Okay, I'm going to get a plate. So like I say, the first time I turned them over on the preheat, they were looking pretty light, like this one here. But once I turned the heat on to a medium, they started crisping up like that. But can you see those? They're very, very light. Part of it too is the chocolate, because I put chocolate in them. They chocolate burned up a little bit. Don't tell anybody that though. So look at these, how they fall out of the cast iron pan. And with practice, thank you. With practice, you're going to have nice round pancakes. Okay. We're going to do one more. Again, I'm going to hit it with this magic shortening. I'm not going to do chocolate chips in this batch because I'm all out. Most of the time on the stove when I'm cooking with my cast iron, the heat is on as low as the heat will go. I'll start it out as a medium to get things hot, medium heat, to get the pan nice and hot and get things cooking. But then usually you can take it right down to low. If you, like with my pot pies, I'll have all the vegetables in there. I'll cook the vegetables at a, like a medium low. If I have to add stock to it, I'll turn it up a little bit closer to medium while I put the 2 cups of stock in. Once that's all heated through, then I put it back down on low again, because they really do retain heat well. Oh, where's a pretty one? Okay. So you can see this. You can see a little bit of that chocolate on the end. See how hot that is? And see the chocolate on the inside? You can have them just like this. Or you can put some honey on them, some syrup. Just sprinkle them with powdered sugar. Delicious. Okay. Pan's hot again. Yeah, these are going to go a little quicker because the pan's a little warmer than it was last time. So like I say, I don't do prepared anything very often at all. But these are a couple of those mixes that are worth spending a couple bucks on. And they last for a while too. My skewers, my kitchen from, okay, my skewers. So I just got all those in. Now I can start flipping almost right away. And I just kind of push down on one side and give it a turn, and it comes up the other side. Yes, these are browning very nicely for me. Yay! Another minute, I'll turn those. And like I said, they're really good with puffed pancakes, please. I've got one in the oven. Oh, bacon would be good. So anyway, like I say, these are good any way you want to make them, whether you make them plain. Throw fruit in there, throw the chocolate in there. Oh, good. And then one more turn. Someday if I get 2 cameras, you'll be able to see better on the stove. I'm just poking one into the wet batter side, making sure it's loose, and then with the other one, flipping it over. You can also, because I didn't put anything in them, they're coming out more like a clamshell, so then I can stuff them full of stuff afterwards too. Ooh, some whipped cream would be good. Or put a couple berries, a couple strawberries inside, a little whipped cream, little bites. You could almost make these as an appetizer if you're having a lot of people over. Cook up a bunch of these, stuff them full of whatever, and hand them off. Last turn. The thing that makes these with using the mix, rather than you can use just a regular pancake batter, but they're going to be a little heavier. These will come out much lighter using the mix. Because I say too, with the mix, it's got 2 beaten egg whites folded into it. And again, I get tired of people saying how cast iron sticks so time and so hard. Look at these. They are again popping right out of the pan. That one is beautiful. That one good for stuffing stuff into. It just takes practice. So get a bag of the mix, or you can go online and dig through and find an actual recipe for that. But do you see how nicely they just pop out of the pan? Okay. All right. But do you see how these made nice little cups? They're all rounded. And it's a cup and you can fill that up with all kinds of goodness. I'm going to be eating pancakes all morning, people. You understand this? It's really, really good. Hi, Sylvia. I'm sorry I'm not saying hi to everybody, but I don't get a chance to look at the list on bottom very often. You caught all that, right? Who wants to come over and eat and bring coffee? I'm home. The next one we're going to make is Swedish pancakes. Here is my 100-and-something-year-old Griswold Swedish pancake pan. I'm going to also put that on that low heat. Okay. I'm going to grease this up. Excuse me, oil. Flavor it up. I don't know what's lucky, what they see about sevens, but the Ebbelskiffer pan was 7 divots. The Swedish pan is also 7 digits. Divots, holes. I don't know, wells? What do you want to call them? You're not going to get the expert chefy explanations from me. You're lucky I'm speaking English right now. You're not going to get all the right chefy terms from me all the time. 2 minutes before I went on, I'm like, crap, what are those things called? Bamboo skewers. You'd soak these, put food on them, put them on your grill. Okay. So, again, with the Swedish, it's a box that I had gotten off the same river site that I had ordered the other stuff. I got a box of each to get going. This is the end of this box. So, this batter is also, trying to get up here so you can see it, is also a loose batter. Very creamy. These pancakes are very light as well. So, I'm actually going to use a measuring cup to ladle these into the little wells. Okay. Oh yeah, there's a sizzle. Oh, here we go. These are looking good. And these are going to cook fast too. Ooh, they're puffing up and everything. This pancake is almost more like a crepe than it is a pancake because it's so very light. And because the batter is so thin, you don't get all the bubbles around the edges like you would with a regular pancake mix. This is lighter. I'm getting just a little bit of bubbling around the edges, but I'm not getting that what you normally see when a pancake's cooked through and ready to turn. Nutella and bananas would be wonderful. I never had Nutella in the house. Maybe I should get some. Okay. So these as well. I'm just going to go around the outside with my skewer to make sure they're loose. And again, the more you use this pan, the better off you're going to be. Beautiful. So, with one hand, the skewer around the outside to loosen. And then I'm just slipping a fork under there. Ah, that one stuck a little bit. Oh, well, it's going to taste the same. And again, I have this burner on as absolutely low as it will go. There. Ooh. I probably could have done just a little bit less batter in these. But again, they're still going to be very light. Once around. Again, last two. And then I won't be showing you my back anymore. The mailman already came, so that's why the dogs aren't barking today. Okay, and those just need a moment, and they'll be done. So grab another plate. I don't do pancakes or anything like that throughout the week because that's a little bit too much to get in when I get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I have to leave by 7:30. So on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, that's when I try to do something, a little bit more special, a little bit more intense because I like cooking. But I always like things that I can cook ahead. These pancake puffs and the Swedish pancakes are both going to go into the freezer or the refrigerator so we can easily pull them out during the week and eat them. Two of us will not sit and eat all of these today. Especially with him working until 9 o'clock tonight. Okay. So the middle one came just about perfect. These others stuck a little bit, but that just means I have to re-season the pan again sometime. When I made my Dutch baby this morning, we had the Dutch baby with bacon and poached eggs. So when I did the Dutch baby and it stuck just a little bit, well, I had also made bacon this morning. So I took the bacon grease from the pan that I had made the bacon in, and I put some of that bacon grease, cleaned and wiped out the pan that I made the Dutch baby in. Put some bacon grease in there, wiped it around, and threw it back in the hot oven and just let it cool off in there. So that's the one I'm using for the Dutch baby right now, so we're going to see how that one goes. So like I said, I think this was just a little bit too much batter in them. So I'm going to loosen up these little particles. They're stuck a little bit. They're not stuck, they flaked off. And we're going to do this again. So get on the heat. I keep trying to look for questions. Come on over, Ralph. You can eat them. You're only, what, 3-4 hours away now? So I'm oiling this up again. I'm going to try to use a little less batter than I did the last time. Can you see? That's how thin this batter is. Okay. So it's lighter, more like a crepe. And you just want to kind of cover the bottom, not necessarily fill that little well up. And honestly, talking you guys through this helps me to remember the next time so I can do better next time. Okay. So see the little pancake? Could be a little thinner. But this, again, with some fruit or whipped cream, honey, whatever you want to do with them. So good. So good. You got the texture on the outside, and then you got that pancakey feel on the inside. I like them a lot. So, like I say, just 1 minute, and then we'll get going on our third pancake. The third pancake is a family recipe. And I'm going to try to keep myself together on it, which some of you may know is not always easy. Okay. So, buzz it around. I just need to use my fork. Buzz it around. Yeah, this is much looser, much easier to get to. What I need to get is a small teeny weeny spatula that I can get under there. All around and over. Yeah, the thinner is definitely the way to go. But they're still tearing up just a little bit. That's because I'm rushing on. Yeah, baby, there we go. That's what I want to see. Okay. Give those just a minute and then they'll be done. I make more for holidays. I'll make these kind of pancakes when we got family over. These are special occasion kind of pancakes. But any Sunday morning when you got the time to have these and a cup of coffee before church is a special morning, so why not? Again, you can cover these with any kind of fruit, whipped cream. You know, you can make that on the lighter side. Serve it with whatever kind of eggs you like. You obviously don't need toast, but bacon goes with everything. Okay. I'm going to pull these out and then pull out my third pan. That's hot. I'm going to wait on that to show you. Just going to get them out of here so they don't burn. But yeah, they could probably use just another minute on each side. You know what I've been enjoying about doing these shows too is I get to use so much of my cast iron. So it re-seasons everything the more you use it. So see how, again, just a little thin. Oh look, you can almost see through it. Pancake. More like a crepe. Yeah. Oh, more of these will cook afterwards after a show. This last pancake, I have to pull my hot griddle out of the oven. So do any of you have these big flat griddles that go over 2 burners? You can use them for everything. That's what I was going to say, you can make that with pizza. Put pizza on that one. But they're really good for cooking a lot of pancakes at a time. The last recipe I'm going to do, it was my dad's recipe. I don't remember when I was a little kid him making these, but when I was in college and people would come home with me, you know, for a weekend or whatever, it seemed like my dad made them almost every time I came home from college. I made them for my friends. They're a German potato pancake. Now, when my dad would make them, he would use 5 pounds of potatoes, or double the batch and use 10 pounds of potatoes. He would use a whole pound of bacon into these things. And he'd be in the kitchen blending them, you know, peeling potatoes, cutting, putting everything through the blender until it got to the right consistency. The thing is with potatoes, and making potato pancakes, you have to cook the whole batch. You can't mix up this batter and put it in the refrigerator. It's going to turn brown and gray and ugly on you. When you make potato pancakes, you need to cook them all through right away. And, pardon me, a lot of times my dad would be in the kitchen making as soon as that first batch came off the grill, we started eating them. So my dad would be in the kitchen cooking up his 4th batch of potato pancakes. Everybody else is already full and left the room, and he's still cooking them. The other thing is he would freeze those, or he just put them in the refrigerator. If they were in the refrigerator, we'd pull them out cold and snack on them. But for just 2 people, or for 3 people, I've adapted it to a smaller recipe. And you don't need a big blender or anything. All you need is a magic little blender. I almost said the word. Okay. So I have already peeled my potatoes. And what I did, I peeled my potatoes, put them in some water with some lemon. I shredded them. Put them in with some lemon and water to keep them from browning before I got here. Because who wants to watch me shred a potato? So now I'm going to pour out the water. Really, I'm pouring out the water. All the water. And now with my paper towel over the top, I'm going to give it a squeeze. Because I want to get all that water out that I can. See my muscles? Okay. So there we go. See, I shredded these like an hour and a half ago. Soaking in the water keeps them looking fresh. A little dash of lemon, we're all good. Okay. So now I'm going to fill this about halfway or so, a little more than half, with my shredded potatoes. Because I'm not making enough of these pancakes to last forever. I just want a few for today. Okay. Shredded potatoes. It was not even quite one whole shredded potato in there. 1 crispy piece of bacon. 1 tablespoon or so of flour. And 1 egg. Now my dad liked to put parsley in his. And he always warned you, don't add the parsley until you've cooked, beat all this together. Because if you put parsley in and then mix it through a blender, you're going to have green pancakes. So I'll put my lid on. It's going to get noisy in here. Blending. I would much rather do it this way and make 1 or 2 servings than to make up 5 pounds unless I've got 10 people coming over for them. Okay, so that's done. Now I've got my griddle over here, which is smoking hot. I'm going to turn that down. And again, I'm just going to oil that up. I'm glad I took the fire alarm off. I'll have to remember that for next week. Okay. Oh, and I forgot, Dad did like to put a little bit of butter in his mix. But since I generously butter the pan, I don't worry about it too much. So, about a spoonful or so, or a little over a spoonful of mix. Depends on how generous you are. Now, there we go. That 1 potato in that mix that I made is going to make about 8 small pancakes. Now that's fine for me. Or it can serve two. That one's, because again, unless you've got a big family around, you're not going to want to peel 5 pounds and work the blender and be in here for 3 hours. My dad did that out of a sacrifice of love for his family. I never appreciated it until after I figured out how hard it worked for him. So I'm going to give them just, again, these don't bubble up like regular pancakes would, but they do get a little crispy around the edges. And these are slipping and sliding right off. No sticking at all. So there they are, just a couple minutes on each side. We've eaten these with applesauce before or sour cream. I've gotten spoiled where I want applesauce in on half of them and sour cream on the other half that I'm going to eat. They're delicious. So, here we go. Just a minute and those will be done. And then I think my Dutch baby's done as well. Can't wait for you to see that thing. Okay. So like I say, I did these small so that they'd cook faster. But if I was seriously making these by myself, I'd probably just make 4 really big ones, so I wouldn't feel bad about eating 4 pancakes rather than 8 pancakes. So hot, I'm just going to cut my hand. You see that? Mm-hmm. You can taste just... I forgot the onion. A tablespoon, a couple tablespoons of onion in there when you grind up the potatoes. That's, I'm missing the onion. Next batch. Okay. Still delicious, but need the onion. Parsley would be nice. Now that Dutch baby we made at the beginning, it's time for that to come out of the oven. This will impress your socks off. Look at that. A little toasty and crunchy around the outside. Like I say, in the smaller skillet, it comes out so much better. And if I did it right, look at that. It slipped right out of the pan. This is the one at the antique store that I got. So like I say, this morning when I made one, it stuck. I threw some bacon grease back in it, put it back in the oven, and now look what happens. It's beautiful. So it's like I say, when you make this, you can make it with some cinnamon or nutmeg in it. You can take it out, you can cover it with honey or with fruit, whichever you prefer. And the thing is, when this comes out of the oven, you know it's all high, and as soon as you get it out and put it on something, it starts to fall. So if you've got people around that you want to wow, you want to, oh, I got flour on myself. If you want to wow them, then like this morning, I pulled it out of the oven and walked it into the living room. Here, this is what you're eating. Look how good it looks. But it still keeps quite a bit of that wow factor with it. But it just deflates a bit. So this is what you get. I just took a little slice off of it. Here's the bottom. Okay. It's very, very tender. Very, very hot. We have them with syrup, with honey. They're wonderful. It is yummy. Hi, baby girl. So there we go. Those are my pancakes. Any questions? Next week, we're going to do chicken pot pie. Happens to be a real favorite of the people I've ever served it to. Make it just a little bit different every time with whatever vegetables I put in it. And that'll be next week. Chicken pot pie. Be here Saturday at noon. You'll love it. This is Stephen from My Kitchen for My Family. Have a good day.